Hello there, welcome to the last episode of season 5 of Surroundscapes, and we have the whole team here to talk about the forthcoming InfoComm show in Orlando. I believe it's the 11th to the 13th of June, and there's many things that we're going to be talking about. But to start with, I want to pass over to Craig to talk about what you think the show is going to hold.
Hello, everyone. Hello again. I'm Craig Cooper. I manage North American sales here at Blue Sound Professional. It's my fourth InfoComm at Blue Sound Professional. I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to have a really big turnout in Orlando. We have a bigger booth this year, and Ross is going to walk you through some of that. We're looking forward to seeing all of our existing friends and customers and seeing a lot of new ones. Stop by, take a seat, have a little refreshing break from running around the Orlando trade floor, but looking forward to seeing everybody. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm going to pass it back to you, Graeme, and then we'll continue on.
Okay, thanks, Craig. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how the show is. I'm primarily interested in our international visitors, or I'm actually interested in everyone, but most of my meetings are with our international visitors. And there's certainly some concern about reduced amounts of international visitors because of border restrictions and things. So we'll see how the show goes. I mean, we often see a lot of Latin Americans at the Orlando InfoComm. I'm certainly hearing that while some of them will be coming, some of them won't be coming. So it'll be interesting. But we've certainly got a ton of things to talk about. And I'm going to start by talking about two of the most interesting things maybe that we have to announce. And the first of these is that we're launch partners of the OpenAV initiative. So we have long been partners with Excite for remote monitoring and control of our devices. And Omar Brookstein at Excite has really done for the first time what the industry's needed, which is to provide a manufacturer agnostic monitoring and control platform for the commercial AV business. So right there, he's already done something that the industry needs that no one else was doing, which, by the way, was what we did at Blue Sound Professional with producing streaming audio hardware for the commercial market. Excite started at around the same time as Blue Sound Professional, and a couple of days ago, Omar introduced to the industry the OpenAV initiative. And this is the second thing that he's done that's revolutionized the industry. So we as an industry have struggled to even work out what media layer protocol we're going to use. Are we going to use CobraNet? Are we going to use Dante? Are we going to use AVB? Are we going to use Ravenna or Livewire or QLAN or any of the other protocols? So we've been struggling to get a unified even media layer protocol. And what I've been saying for probably a decade now is that's the first step. The next step is to unify the control layer, the one above. And that's the challenge that Excite have set with the OpenAV initiative. And what that is a group of us manufacturers committing to put our public APIs into the cloud. And some of the launch partners are very big ones like Sony and Panasonic and Shaw and Legrand and Brightsign. And we're also a launch partner, and we're all committing to put our public APIs into the cloud. This will allow any developers who want to link APIs and make their own link apps and that sort of thing, a lot easier access to all of those APIs. And it's really beginning to solve this question of interaction at a control layer. Then you add to that the idea that they're spinning up an MCP server, and it gets super interesting. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It was developed by Anthropic, the people behind Claude, and it's been adopted by OpenAI and Microsoft and Google. And it's going to be your agentic AI common language. So what this allows you to do is to use pretty much any AI agent as a front end with MCP commands that through the server could link to API calls. And what this means is the whole of the control industry is going to be totally revolutionized. And we, because we're curating and managing music services, get the opportunity to even go further with it than most other manufacturers. And the future might well hold things like AI curated music playlists being linked directly to music services in a sort of frictionless way. So I really believe that OpenAV is going to be one of the most talked about things at InfoComm, and we're right there at the start. So that's the first of the big announcements that we have. The second one is concerning MoodSonic. So MoodSonic, we have been working with for several years now, and they are the leaders in biophilic soundscaping for the workplace, healthcare environments, as part of the well office movement. They've been the leaders in the biophilic soundscaping space really since it started. So biophilic soundscaping is beginning to take over from more conventional pink noise-based sound masking systems and is part of the well office movement. So what this is doing is creating better places for employees to be in. And it's merging things like biophilic soundscaping with lighting control based around circadian rhythms, with HVAC that tracks outside temperature, with video screens, with natural content, with green walls, to create this well environment that employees like working in. So MoodSonic is, for the soundscape part of it, the market leader. And we have just announced a really deep partnership with them, whereby we're going to be providing the hardware for the next generation of MoodSonic soundscaping products. So MoodSonic use generative algorithms that are housed within a player to generate these really nuanced biophilic soundscapes. And we're going to be working with MoodSonic on a variety of ways that you can implement that architecture, from fully centralized through semi-centralized, right through to completely decentralized. And we'll be beginning to talk about that at InfoComm. Evan Benway, the CEO of MoodSonic, is going to be on our booth for much of the show. So come and see us, find out more about what MoodSonic's all about and how our hardware is going to play into that really tightly integrated solution. That's also another huge announcement for us. It gets us involved in an entirely different area, which is still around content provision in commercial spaces. But this is around soundscaping in the workplace and healthcare. We'll see where it leads, but it's another really interesting direction that we're going in. So with that, I'm going to pass back to Craig to talk about the next interesting thing we have at the show.
For sure. Before I get into the next thing that we're going to talk about, I want to go back to the couple things that Graeme had mentioned, and I don't think he could overstate it how important these two things are to us. The OpenAV to the industry is massive. We focus on hardware. The rest of the world is kind of focusing on software, which is kind of what you'll see in the presentation we're doing right now. OpenAV is going to be a great advance for the entire industry, and enable us to do some ideas that we want to do, and we've been talking about that are going to be really, really fun. Can't wait to unlock that. And Mood Sonic obviously is a great partner. It's a great product. I'm super excited about it. I'm fully on board with the technology. It's very cool, and I'm really excited about that. I think all of the dealers are going to be very interested and excited about it as well. I know that when I talk to architects and engineers about the products, they are very, very excited to hear more about it. So that's going to be something I think is going to be a quickly become a staple in the industry, and excited to be part of that. What we're also talking about today is a new integration with a music provider partner, mainly for fitness, Fit Radio. Very excited to bring Fit Radio on board. They are a commercial service provider using content maybe exclusively for gyms, but also for personal use. They have curated playlists based on duration and BPM so that you can have your classes or your gym have curated content by DJs to have the right vibe for whatever type of class you're doing, whether it's yoga or Pilates or, all of the other types of exercise. I just ride bikes, so I don't know all of the stuff that people do in a gym. I have lots of legs and not much upper body, if you will. But Fit Radio is going to be a great partner, and it's also one of our first ones on kind of a more streamlined process to bring more options to our customers, which is the other thing that we've been focusing on in the back end for probably a better part of a year to get a lot more options in front of our customers. So Fit Radio might be now for personal use or for gyms, but if you think about it in the amenity spaces in corporate, I hear more and more about that. In higher education, also, we do a lot of apartment buildings that have gyms. Apartment buildings are like resorts now anymore, but they'll have gyms and fitness centers. So there's going to be a lot of reach with Fit Radio. Excited to partner with them and bring them to new opportunities. Also excited for us to partner with Fit Radio and their existing customers. They have great customers. Many of the premier gyms and studios brands that you think of. We're going to do a full surroundscapes with Fit Radio probably in the upcoming few weeks, and you'll get to learn a lot more about them right from the horse's mouth, if you will, instead of third party through me and the things that I can remember. I'm going to pass it off to Reza, but he's going to talk about something that is really exciting. So this year we kind of, we're growing. So we were able to grow our booth size. And with that, we kind of wanted to make an area where attendees of the show could come up and listen to some of our devices without needing to interrupt us. Not that you're interrupting us, but to come over and use an area. And we might be juggling a space. In the past, we've had smaller booths and kind of didn't allow us the opportunity for a visitor just to walk up and listen to our speakers, because they're great sounding speakers, and we're going to make it really easy to do so. And I'm going to pass it off to Reza to explain how he brought this idea to life.
Thanks a lot, Craig. And yeah, that was a great idea. I know you came to Ross and myself, and you pitched this, and we were excited to run with it, and it came together really nicely. It's interactive. It's going to give you a chance to, like you said, self-driven. You could walk up to it, play around, play whatever speakers you like, compare, do a little A/B comparison, raise the volume, things like that. And aside from it just being a demo of the speakers itself, it really is a demo of the entire ecosystem. Without giving away too much of what Ross is going to talk about next, you're going to get to see how it's managed, how it's controlled, the APIs in action, and how smooth it is. When we were testing it, that was one of the most surprising, not surprising, like we we knew it would be awesome, but to see it actually manifest and work, be so responsive, so robust. When you're doing the demo, you're really demoing the capabilities of networked audio in general and the Blue Sound ecosystem and what it can provide. It's being controlled by something really cool, and Ross is here to provide more information about that. So having said that, I'm going to pass it over to Ross.
Great. Thanks, Reza. I guess, first of all, I'm going to keep you on hold on that item for a bit. I'm just going to do a bit of a booth tour, if you will. It's kind of exciting because, as Craig mentioned, it's a larger booth this year. It's actually double the size, and so we've been able to put a lot more of our technology on display and really make it a space that's going to work for really multiple sessions at the same time. We're continuing with our rack, with all our rack mounted equipment in it. So our family members like our B400S and B100S and our B170S, all our streamers and streamer amplifiers will be in the rack on display in one part of the booth. And then we also have a couple of large display walls where we're providing the ability to show off all our PoE speakers. So whether it's a BSP 1000, 500, 200, and then even an over ceiling section that we have now for our BCS 300s and 250s. And we have two of these sections, one that will be part of the display setup that Reza mentioned, and the other one will be for specific meetings. But it's all spread out and lots of room, and we really think it's a great showcase for our technology. And just getting on to our device we were talking about, I just wanted to talk about the CP200 here. This is our neat little product that sort of made a lot of this self-demoing all possible, because what this device is a new wall control panel for those large accounts that, you know, they understand our CP100 and the control features that it has, and maybe don't want to offer to their end users a full Blue Sound controller panel from an Android or iPad perspective. This is something that sort of sits in between, and it's programmable through our APIs to do whatever you want on this. Think of it as a blank slate, and you can enable brand images to meet in with, you know, if you're doing a chain or whatever, you can put a brand specific logo on the screen. You can customize the buttons. Maybe you don't want 5 presets. Maybe you want 10 presets. You can create 10 presets. You can just do lots of macro commands associated with the buttons. So we're going to show that in a few different formats. The self demo is a completely different type of demo, and it was all done on the CP200 is what we're calling it. And we'll also be showing the standard operation of the CP200, controlling our players on one display wall, and also the ability to show that this device can also run multiple zones if you want from different pages within this device. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of dynamic possibilities with it, and we're really excited to show it. I've had a lot of fun over the last few months playing with it, so to speak, programming different applications. And every time Craig comes up with something new, I've been able to really come up with something with this device. And then Reza now has had the opportunity to program this for our self-running demo. And so we're really excited about some of the new technologies we're bringing to this professional space, and hoping to continue on through this year, bringing more and more new technologies to the space, to new generations of our existing products. We really have an exciting roadmap coming along, and just would love to share and talk and have a chat and learn more from some of our visitors to the booth. I always enjoy InfoComm, and looking forward to Orlando this year.
Great. Thanks very much, Ross. So that about wraps us up. I'd like to go back to a couple of things. The CP200 that Ross was talking about is really going to be useful to us in some of the very large rollouts we do, being able to give customers a really customized interface. And I think I'm right in saying, Ross, that we can actually even control other things from the CP200.
Yeah, you know, when you're talking about APIs and OpenAV, and, you know, actually this is a device that I could, if I have some of the API information from other vendors, I can actually control their devices with it. So it's not just Blue Sound, it's just any APIs I can program into these buttons. And it is a PoE powered device. So it's really going to be a really flexible, dynamic solution for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's super exciting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but you will see that also in the demo, that we would be calling an API from something other than a Blue Sound device. So you can really see that happen in action in
Well,
tandem, how it's working all together.
now you're teasing us, Reza. Everyone's going to want to come and
Oh yeah.
see what we're doing with it. And I also want to go back to something that Craig mentioned about Fit Radio being the first of a series of integrations that you'll see coming down the line using a more streamlined music service integration pathway that we've been developing. So if you're a music service provider, come and talk to us. We've made it easier than ever to integrate different music services together. So come and talk to us on the booth. By the way, when talking about our booth, all four of us will be there. It is booth 5455. As Craig says, not Craig, Ross said, it's twice the size of our booth last year. So we're growing, and so is our booth. Hopefully, Craig will be debuting a whole series of new shirts at the show, and you can come all 3 days to see Craig's shirts.
And pants as well.
Pants as well. Yes, he will be wearing pants, and they probably will be brightly colored. Come and see us. It's going to be a great show. We've got a ton of things to talk about. Craig also teased one of the episodes for the next Surroundscape series, season 6. We're getting ready to start doing those recordings. That'll be we'll take about 3 months off to record all of the next season. But in general, you can find Surroundscapes at your favorite podcast site. But bluesoundprofessional.com/surroundscapes is a good place to find all of the podcast episodes. But now we'll say farewell for this episode and this season even. And we look forward to seeing you in real life in Orlando. So come and see us. Booth 54, 55. See you soon.
Thanks.